What's happening, everybody? Joelsuf coming your way. Are you ready for the final fantasy booking of Retribution? You know, that train wreck that you've been seeing on WWE that had really good potential when it began in the summer, and now it just sucks. Yeah, I did fantasy booking on Retribution uh, a number of months ago, and right now New Year's Eve, I figure what better time to conclude it. Before I start the video, I want to talk about. I want to pay tribute to the life of Jonathan Huber, uh, who performed in WWE as Luke Harper, and who also performed in AEW as Brodie Lee. Um, Honestly, I heard about his death a little bit after Christmas, and he's only a couple of years older than me, and that's scary to know that someone who apparently, he appeared healthy, and I guess he had some lung issues, some respiratory issues that weren't COVID related, so he didn't get COVID-19. He didn't die from COVID-19. That actually happened to one of my buddies. So, the fact that I got COVID-19, I guess, and survived, I guess it just means that, I'm a different kind of blessed. You know what I mean? And the fact that my health has been fine and perfect, and I'm 38 and a half years old, I'm pretty much the same age as, uh, as Jonathan Huber. And he's not with us anymore, and, and he left behind a family, and his wife and children must be. It sucks. So I wanted to kind of dedicate this video to the memory of Jonathan Huber because I think that's necessary. And I just want to send this message before I go into the video that take care of yourselves, everybody. Especially now when you got COVID going crazy, you know what I mean? And it looks like people are just have given up on on protecting each other from it and stuff like that. Looks like we're trying to achieve herd immunity, which I kind of agree with. I think it should be up to the select establishments whether they should remain open or not, and that kind of stuff. Whether they should allow, or whether they should require face guards and face covers and stuff. But I don't want to get into that. I already got into that in my recovering from COVID video. You know what I mean? So yeah, I kind of agree with that, but I still, it's up to you. You know what I mean? And do the things you need to do, even though you may not like them, to stay healthy. Whether that is going in for physicals twice a year, getting good blood work done, um, you know, eating right and staying active. Doing what Hulk Hogan says, which is take your vitamins and say your prayers and train hard. Do all these things because you never know. You never know when your health is gonna suddenly take a turn to where the help you get isn't enough. And I think that's what happened with Jonathan Huber. I think he kind of maybe, I don't really know because I honestly don't personally know the guy, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he had some issues and said, it's just a thing. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, oh my God, can't breathe. Let's get him to the emergency room. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Take care of yourselves, please. If you're young, no matter what age you are, man, take care of yourselves. This way you can live a very long life. I want everyone who watches my stuff or listens to my stuff or whatever, whether you like my content or whether you don't like my content, I really don't care. I want you to live a ridiculously long time. Okay? Like a ridiculously, like in the night, like I want you to live to like 95, man. Like 95, 100. You know, whether you like my content or whether you don't like my content makes no difference. You know what I mean? So, you know, and like seeing someone your age pass away, you know, that like, you know, that makes you think about that kind of stuff, all right? So do yourself that favor and do me that favor too, because I don't want to have any more brushes with mortality for a while, okay? Like, my bowling buddy died of COVID-19, and he was 2 years younger than me. We got Jonathan Huber dying of something that isn't COVID related, but still he died, and he's 2 years older than me. So, these brushes with mortality have made me very anxious. So, I don't want to hear about anyone else losing their life. Okay? I don't. Okay. Alright. On to the video. So, part 2 left us after the Royal Rumble, which Mustafa Ali won after he turned on Randy Orton. So, there's two, like, retributions now. There's the old retribution that Mustafa Ali was the leader of. And then you got, like, another retribution that Randy Orton is part of. Because Randy Orton joined Retribution so that he could hold on to the WWE title so that he could win it for the 15th, 16th time, whatever. But after he did that, he was like, oh, you know, Mustafa Ali and his Retribution, they've outlived his usefulness. So now we're going to have, like, infighting between Orton's Retribution and Mustafa Ali's Retribution. And this is what's going to get NXT involved, because NXT really wasn't involved in the first two parts of Retribution. It was more of the main roster kind of stuff. But after Mustafa Ali wins the Royal Rumble, Triple H comes out with NXT guys, and like there's just nonstop brawling, and you don't know who's on whose side here. You know what I mean? So yeah. So the Raw after Royal Rumble, Orton with some Retribution guys come out, and Orton says, "Look, Retribution is now mine. Okay, I have the title. It's my group. You can call," and he says to Mustafa Ali, he calls out Mustafa Ali. He says, Mustafa, you can call your group whatever the hell you want to call it. Just don't call it Retribution. Well, this gets Mustafa Ali with some of his Retribution guys to come out and says that no, Retribution was my idea. I was the hacker guy in the summer of 2020 who was spying on, or in the, whatever, when 2020 began. I don't remember when he did it. But whatever, you know, I was the hacker guy. I was the guy who was spying on all this stuff. I was the guy who said that there's a number of us who aren't being treated right. You know, you joined us because we thought that you joined us because you needed us. So who are you to tell us? Who are you to tell me who Retribution is? So yeah, and so both groups, they just start brawling like crazy. And this kind of starts a recurring theme in TV shows where throughout the matches and segments between performers who aren't a part of either Orton or Ali's Retribution, you'll see like a brawl between Orton's guys and Ali's guys. And they just hijack every show. You see them brawling throughout matches. You see them brawling throughout like segments like Charlie Caruso will be like interviewing somebody like whatever, and then all of a sudden you'll see like a brawl, just a random brawl happen in the background. It's because Orton's Retribution and Ali's Retribution are fighting with each other, and you see that a lot. You're going to see that a lot through the TV shows. And again, that's to get more people involved. At the NXT after Royal Rumble, Triple H announces that he has a new partner that will split WWE into two different entities, WWE and NXT. Triple H says, you know what? NXT is way different than Raw or SmackDown. It's different than WWE. And so this is going to also play a crucial part in how Retribution fights amongst each other. How you have Orton's Retribution versus Ali's Retribution. Oh, sorry about that. At the SmackDown after Royal Rumble, Shane McMahon comes out after months of being off TV. And he says, hey, it's been 5 years since I returned to the organization, to WWE. And 5 years ago, I mentioned something called a lockbox that promised certain privileges that I would receive if certain things were to happen, as almost like a precautionary measure to ensure the survival of WWE. And so he comes out with the lockbox, and it's not really a lockbox. It could be like the old school Money in the Bank briefcase, where it was just a black briefcase. It'd be something like that. You know what I mean? Or like or the silver briefcases. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff that usually has titles in them, or even contracts in them, whatever. That kind of stuff. He comes out with that. He says, well, let's go ahead and open this and find out exactly what that lockbox was. Because I have it in my hands now. After 5 years of this thing being mysteriously dropped from everything moments after it was mentioned, now let's see after 5 years what this is. And in it, it contains a contract. And Shane McMahon actually puts it on the Titantron, like the actual writing of the contract on the Titantron. And the contract states that if Raw or SmackDown hits ratings under 1.5, which has been happening, by the way, and we're going to assume that that's happening, throughout late 2020 into 2021, because it's going to, because WWE doesn't care about ratings, and we're going to be talking about that in a different video. But if Raw or SmackDown consistently hits ratings under 1.5, Shane McMahon and someone of his choosing gets to decisively, not just temporarily like in the last two parts of Retribution where, okay, this group needs to be stopped, so let's temporarily end the brand split until they are stopped. No, this is a permanent end to the Raw and SmackDown brand split forever, by the way. Permanently. And get to share ownership with Vince McMahon. And this is important because it's not going to be like it's not going to be like in 2001 where you had WWE and then you had the Alliance and it was just kayfabe. No, and it's not going to be like 2011 where where Vince McMahon stepped down so that Triple H could be the COO. You remember that? Yeah, no, it's not going to be like those. It's not kayfabe. And Shane actually says that. He says, this contract was actually written in 2001. Way back, 20 years ago, when WWE bought out WCW and essentially bought out ECW because he knew that WWE needed to compete within itself, and that if WWE can't compete within itself, which proved that it hasn't, that something else has to drastically change. And so Shane McMahon mentions this, and he says, this is not kayfabe. It's for real. And Vince McMahon comes out and he says, you know what? I can't argue with you there. You're absolutely right. There's nothing I can do about this. The brand split has officially ended. There will be no more drafts. There will be no more wild card stuff like what happened, I think, 2 years ago, where, like, if someone won a match on SmackDown, they could go on Raw or some bullshit like that. That was in either 2018 or 2019. I don't remember, but it was awful either way. It's so bad. WWE over the last like 3 or 4 years, or even like the last 10, have just been piss poor, god awful, man. Like how these podcasters? How I'm just a little aside here, just a little bit of tangent. I'm sorry, just a couple minutes of a tangent here. How? Okay, I'm recording. How guys like Solo Monster and Good Mic Work and OTRS and Delixman can, like, or even the Figure 4 Online guys, you know, Brian Alvarez and stuff like that. How these people can sit through these shows and attentively watch them and then be forced to review them because they don't get paid because they're content creators on a much larger scale than me. So they almost have to because it's their living. How they can do that and not just like and not like, you know, and stay sane is beyond me. I have no idea how they do it. I don't know. That's why I don't do it. Because that's why I just do it for fun, you know? Just whenever I'm bored or whenever I feel obligated to. Like right now, I had to do this. You know what I mean? But like, I mean, I can't. I was considering doing that. You know, very similar to Spoonie back when he did Wrestle. But no, man. I don't have the time and energy to do that. But how these guys can do that, I have no idea. Anyways. So that's at the end of SmackDown after Royal Rumble. And it ends with Vince McMahon shaking Shane McMahon's hand. And then Vince asking Shane, well, who's your partner in this? And Shane says it's Triple H, the guy who mostly runs NXT. So there you go. And during the TV shows before TakeOver, you see more of Ali's Retribution and Orton's Retribution brawling and stuff like that. And you see Shane McMahon and Triple H on NXT saying, yo, like, if anyone from Retribution comes in here, we're going to kick your ass. Whether you're from Orton's Retribution or whether you're from Ali's Retribution. We don't care. Because we're NXT. We're not like you. You're not welcome here. And a rare moment of cooperation between Orton and Ali's NXT, both Orton with his Retribution guys and Ali with his Retribution guys, they both come out and they say, do something to stop us. Go ahead. Because we got all our guys here. Where are your guys at? Maybe some of them are with us. And so you see some of the NXT guys like going towards Orton's or Ali's group. And that this could be at the end of any given NXT show, where like it's just a massive like probably like if you remember there was an episode of NXT UK where I think there was like one group versus the Imperium, and there was like a 10-minute brawl segment, and the crowd was going absolutely ballistically crazy. I think this was like last year or something like that. And it's similar to that kind of brawl segment where like you just see nothing but brawling action everywhere. And in the last episode of me rebooking Retribution, I booked it to where like WWE could let like a certain small amount of fans in the building, like AEW does. So like, so you'll hear the fans like really cheering and really getting into it. So, yeah, that'll happen on any given NXT show before Takeover and stuff like that. Same with Raw and on SmackDown and stuff like that. And at some point in any of these TV shows before Takeover, John Cena comes out and makes an appearance. And it's during like a brawl segment between Ali and Orton's Retribution groups. And among other groups that are not affiliated with them, like the Dangerous, like the Hurt Business and the recreation of the Dangerous Alliance, which I described the last episode, where it is Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and I think both Usos, and of course Paul Heyman, and all of them are brawling, and Orton. And after all the brawling ends, John Cena comes out and he says, "Oh my God, did you just see that wild brawl that just took place?" And Cena says, "You know what? My business as a full-time wrestler here is over. Okay, I'm doing movies now. I'm just as Hollywood as Rock was. I feel like I'm going back on my word when I said 9, 10 years ago about Rock, because now I've become like him. But one thing has come to my mind, and that is that Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. Oh my lord, what is going on outside?" The brawls I'm talking about, like, get those to get hustles and other EMTs and shit to show up. May as well, right? And so Cena says, it can't be a regular match. It just cannot be a regular match. Orton versus Ali at WrestleMania 37? No. It's not going to be a normal match at all. And Cena pitches an idea. He says, look, why don't we make this like the biggest lumberjack match ever? Let's have Orton's group and Ali's Retribution group as lumberjacks, and it's gonna need a special guest referee. It just has to, right? It just has to. And this is Cena saying this. He says, what if it was a guy who had over 9,000 matches with John Cena, with Randy Orton, and a guy who's watched a good amount of stuff involving Mustafa Ali, who actually is a big fan of Mustafa Ali. I wonder if it's the guy standing in the middle of the ring now. And Cena says, you know what? I think it is the guy standing in the middle of the ring right now. And he clears it up with who's the GM? Who's the GM guy? Adam Pearce. He clears it up with Adam Pearce. I was gonna book him to be the leader of Retribution, but I don't know. It would have sucked. I guess it would have been cool. I don't know, man. But I'm not gonna rebook Retribution. No, I have way too much fun doing these videos. Okay. So yeah, so he clears it all up with he asks Triple H and he asks Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon and Stephanie, all the McMahons, is that okay to do that? And everyone says yes, please do that, because they'll restore some damn order here. So there you go. And also the match between Orton and Cena at WrestleMania 37, it's going to be Falls Count Anywhere too. So it's going to be lumberjacks with Orton's group and Ali's group surrounding the ring. Cena as the special guest referee. And Falls Count Anywhere in the building. Meaning that it can spill outside the ring. And very similar to how ECW used to do shows back 25 years ago. Yes, they were overbooked, but good God, were they exciting to watch. Because you would have a match just spill out all over the building, and it was like, oh my god, these guys are not doing like a wrestling match. These guys are actually fighting. That's what I want Ali versus Orton to be. And at NXT TakeOver, it's Triple H and Shane McMahon come out and they say, if anyone sees Orton or Ali or anyone involved, anyone in their groups in this building, they're gonna get escorted out by security. Well, guess what? Some of the security are actually members of Retribution. Of both Ali or Orton's Retribution groups. So there's pretty much no security during the entire show. Because if the security isn't working for Ali's group of Retribution, they're probably working for Orton's too. They're probably working for Orton's. So in between the matches, you just see Orton's group and Ali's group of Retribution, and of course Ali and Orton themselves brawling amongst everywhere in the building. Everywhere in the building, it distracts the play-by-play, it distracts the pay-per-view itself. And there's just no order. It legitimately distracts anyone in the matches. Like, let's say you have like, I don't know, who's the NXT Ladies Champion? Io Shirai. So you have Io Shirai versus, I don't know, somebody, some chick. I don't know. I don't really watch much NXT. I don't really watch much WWE, to be really honest. I kind of keep it on in the background. So I'm kind of like, oh, that was cool. And then I'll just stop. You know, because I don't really watch it attentively. You know, like maybe I should if I'm doing these. But yeah, you know, and so like, you know, the people in the matches be like, oh my god, what is going on over there? You know, that kind of stuff will happen throughout the entire night. Sorry. I'm looking at my notes. And all of this comes to a head during the NXT title match, which is a three-way dance between Finn Balor, Karrion Kross, and Johnny Gargano. So those are pretty much the top three guys in NXT right now, I'd say. And the entire match just gets interrupted. The entire match. Like, it doesn't even start. Because as it starts, as everyone's getting introduced, Orton and all these Retribution groups are now brawling around the ring. And they're just everywhere. They're just everywhere beating each other up constantly. And, like, Ali gets some shots in on Orton. And then Orton gets some shots in on Ali. And stuff like that. And there's blood, too. Most of these wrestlers, most of these guys and girls in both Retribution groups are cut open and, like, you know, and are bruised and scarred and stuff like that. They use weapons. They use everything. They use everything. They throw each other into the, because some of the, but, you know, because, like, I still like the idea of the virtual fans. I kind of want to, like, be on it during one of the shows. I think it'd be pretty funny. But yeah, and then I could be like, yo, I was right there. You didn't see me? But yeah. So they still have some of those, but you can use those as weapons. So, like, one of them will throw it into one of the screens and stuff, and yeah. And it gets interrupted, but, like, it does still take place. And, like, and after all the brawling ends, Triple H and Shane McMahon, they say, you know what? We're not going to have this match here at TakeOver. We can't. We're going to have it at WrestleMania 37. And now at WrestleMania 37, all three titles are going to be unified. Universal title, WWE title, and NXT title. All three get unified at WrestleMania 37. I think I already booked this in the last part. So if I'm rebooking that, then oh well. I'm not doing this kind of content like as a profession or anything like that. It's fun, okay? Alright. So WrestleMania 37. okay, you have the NXT title match. And it's also announced that the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal will get added to the title unification match. And I'm going to book Drew McIntyre to win it because as much as he's giving me the Roman Reigns 2015 vibe, or 2015 to 2017 vibe, rather, of Roman Reigns, or even 15 to like 19, to be really honest. Or until he wrestled Cena. When was that? Late 17? Summer 17? Yeah. Because it was like during the summer. Oh my god. What is going on in my city? This is the fifth. This is like the third time. I've heard sirens outside my apartment. Damn. Calm down, guys. It's not New Year's Eve yet. I mean, it is, but it's not. It's the eve before New Year's Eve. As of me recording it, it's like 2:30 in the morning on New Year's Eve. It's not New Year's Day yet. That's in 24 hours from now. But as much as current McIntyre, gives me like early 2015 to summer 2017 Roman Reigns vibes, he's still hot, so he's still gonna get good title shot, and he's really the only star, in the only real larger than life star in WWE that they have. You know, he comes out with the Claymore sword thing and the kill and the whole. That's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, wow, this guy is a big deal. You know what I mean? He's larger than life. You know what I mean? Like, WWE doesn't really have anyone else like that. You know, Roman Reigns, kind of, you know, the Tribal Chief gimmick is awesome now. I love the Tribal Chief gimmick. I don't love it as much as MJF. I will make a video about why I'm such a big MJF fanboy. Why I'm an MJ fanboy. You see that? The MJ and an F and an fanboy. Anyway, alright, enough. I am going to book MJF winning the AEW title, though. Yes. That's coming. That's not for a few months, though. I'll talk about that later. But anyways, so McIntyre wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And he would be a great candidate to win that. You know what I mean? It'd be great. Former champion. Former Royal Rumble winner. Won Royal Rumble 2020. So why not have a former champion win a Battle Royal that adds you into the title match later on in the night? And that's honestly how you can fix the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Because what was the reward for winning it? You get a statue that looks like Andre the Giant? I mean, I guess that's cool. But what, do I get a title shot? I get a cool looking thing. You know, you gotta make it mean something, man. May as well have it be like, okay, you get added. It's like winning, it's like a last chance Royal Rumble. McIntyre wins. And it's also at the beginning of the show, Triple H and Shane McMahon, they say, you know what? We're going to have this. We're going to do something different. Something that's never happened before. You've seen three-way dance matches where one guy gets eliminated and then the other two have a match. You've seen 6 guys in a Hell in a Cell match. That was at Armageddon 2000. But have you ever... And you've seen Fatal 4-Way, where it's a 4-way dance, where you have one guy gets eliminated, then the second guy gets eliminated, stuff like that. And you've seen Elimination Chamber matches, where it's 6 guys, they all get eliminated, whatever. And it's within the confines of a chamber. And they say, what if we had an Elimination Chamber match without the Elimination Chamber? What if we had Cena being that referee and and all the Retribution guys as lumberjacks, and we had and falls could count anywhere in the building, and we added our NXT's triple threat match to what is now going to be a three-way dance between Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Mustafa Ali. And they go, and one of them goes, You want to stay for that match, guys. Don't leave early, cause you're gonna witness wrestling entertainment, sports entertainment, whatever we would call it, history later on tonight. So now it's Finn Balor, Karrion Kross, Johnny Gargano, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali in a 6-man match to unify the WWE, the Universal, and the NXT championships. And match is what you think it would be. Completely insane. And to be really honest, it's just a wrestling fetish of mine, I guess. I love overbooked matches. Overbooked matches for me are I'm like a kid in a candy store and I see overbooked matches. I love overbooked matches because it completely suspends my disbelief of wrestling. I can't buy into, it's one-on-one, there has to be a winner, everyone's barred from ringside. And yet, you see people coming to fucking ringside. May as well just have anything fucking goes. May as well have fans of one guy, fans of another guy, and maybe some other people who sneak in as lumberjacks. And they all surround the ring, and they all surround all 6 of these warriors beating the shit out of each other. And you see John Cena, and he's like, man, and you see it in his eyes. You see him as he's counting the pinfalls, as he's trying to record the submissions, which all take place at the same time. So it's so hard for him to detect who's getting pinned and who isn't getting pinned. And you see in his eyes that he's like, I could be here. I could be in this match, god damn it. You see that in his eyes constantly in the match. Which is a prelude to another thing I'm going to be booking, by the way. Which, again, is not going to appear for another few months. And I'm going to talk about that later on. Yeah. And I'm going to actually remove all this stuff and actually, talk to you fans. But it gets done, and it comes down to, naturally, Randy Orton versus Mustafa Ali. And at this point, all the lumberjacks they're all beaten up. They've just destroyed each other. Orton's Retribution group and Ali's Retribution group and anyone else who wanted to help Drew McIntyre or any of the NXT guys, none of them, all of them are just destroyed. And it really now becomes just one-on-one. It degenerates to instead of a one-on-one match turning into a massive brawl. This is a massive brawl that turns into a one-on-one match. And at the very end of the match, the last 15 minutes, it'd be an hour-long match. Because it'd be an hour, but it would be you're on the edge of your seat for an hour. You know what I mean? And yes, it would end the show, obviously. And at the and during the last 15 or so minutes of this match is just non-stop, hard-hitting, but also athletic stuff from Mustafa Ali, but also the cold and calculating tactics of Randy Orton. And every time John Cena goes in to count the shoulders, you see that look in his eyes that he wants to be in this match so badly. Whenever he is asking Ali if he wants to give up because of a submission hold that Orton has on him, or asking Orton if he wants to give up if Mustafa Ali has a submission hold on Orton, you see it in Cena's eyes that he doesn't want to be a referee in this match. He wants to be in this goddamn match. But Ali gets the final decision, and he eliminates Randy Orton, and he unifies all three titles. So now he is NXT champion, WWE champion, and Universal champion. And as Mustafa Ali is getting interviewed, and as like Orton's like selling, whatever finisher that Ali hits, Ali says in a very tearful promo, he said, and it's him pretty much turning good guy. He was a good guy before, but now he's like serious as a good guy. He says, "Look, I created Retribution because no one believed in me except the people in my group of Retribution. After Orton joined, I felt impure. And after I won the Royal Rumble, after he punted me, after he re-injured me, I thought it was going to be like 2 years ago, where I was going to be passed up for the title. And I didn't want that to happen again. So I worked really hard to rehab my injuries. And I worked really hard, and I won that Royal Rumble match. And I'm now standing here, just like Kofi Kingston was 2 years ago, just like Daniel Bryan was 7 years ago, the WWE champion. And no one can take that away from me. No one can take that away from me. And sometimes you need to be a bad person in order to be a good person. Sometimes it has to be that way. And I'm sorry that I executed it like that, because it wasn't supposed to be like that. I created Retribution because I was upset. I was upset about being passed over. But when Orton joined, I realized that what I did was wrong. My execution, while wrong, was necessary. And now you're seeing the necessary champion, Mustafa Ali. And after he says his congratulatory promo, Orton RKO's Charlie Caruso. And he punts, he RKO's pretty much everybody. He RKO's Ali, he RKO's Cena. And Orton's Retribution group just beats everyone up. And they target Cena. They target John Cena. And just like when the Nexus attacked John Cena, so too does Orton's Retribution. And Orton, just like with Austin in the Alliance, is like telling his guys, whoever it is, Dio Madden and Dominic Dijakovic, whatever, and Shane Thorne and any other guys who are in Orton's Retribution. You can use your imagination to see who it is. He's shouting them, "Oh, hit your finisher, hit your finisher." And then he goes, "Now it's time for me to hit my finisher." And he punts John Cena. And the final shot of WrestleMania 37, as you see the credits in the lower left, is John Cena like laying in the ring, in the middle of the ring, completely alone, almost unconscious as emergency personnel help him out of the ring. And as he gets lifted out of the ring, that's when the show fades to black. And that sets the stage for me booking Cena versus Orton to win the WWE title for a 17th time, because yes, that has to happen. That someone needs to surpass Ric Flair. And it's going to be either John Cena or Randy Orton. And that needs to happen. And it needs to happen. And I want it to happen soon. In a year, it's going to be 2022. And that's going to mark 20 years of both Cena and Orton being part of WWE as full-time performers. And what better time for either of them to win their 17th title than than them being 20 years pro. And I'm a fan of both. I've always been a fan of Cena. I've always been a fan of Orton. And they need to win time. And okay. So that's Retribution, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me go and click off this stuff there, and there, and there. And let me blow this up. There's a few things I want to talk about. Sorry that this is... Alright, there. I enjoy doing wrestling content. I could do it for a long time, as you could tell. 45 minutes or 46 minutes have passed, and I'm still ranting and rambling about it. And I got it like energizes me. Like, I could literally talk about wrestling for hours on end. And if I had a larger following, I would. If I had a following that... Okay, let's put it this way. If you added two zeros to my follower list, like I have I think 350 some odd followers. If I had 35,000, I wouldn't do the stuff I do for money. I wouldn't do Uber Eats, and I probably wouldn't do. Probably would still do freelance writing stuff for clients because that's fun too. But I would do content like this probably every day. But I don't have that kind of following. I don't have the equipment to that. I don't have the equipment to. That's becoming of a YouTuber with that kind of following, okay? And so it's because of that I go out of my way a lot to make make wrestling content, to make these fantasy booking videos. And the problem with that is that it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Because when I make the scripts for all this stuff and when I shoot these videos, I'm passing up time that I could use towards other things in my life. And let's be really honest, it has to deal with the stuff in my vocation, which is Uber Eats, and it is also freelance writing stuff, and it's also writing my blog, which I really don't talk about much on this channel, because the content in my blog is a little bit different. But I feel like I try to establish a nice tight knit following with my followers. So when I do future content in over next year in 2021, you're going to be seeing that. You're going to be seeing like little promo codes or promos for stuff that I sell, books that I write, and coaching that I do. But the problem with me doing these fantasy booking videos, and even the Joelsuf Remembers videos, where I take a moment from 5, 10, 15, 25 years ago, and I talk about it because it's fun and awesome. The problem with that is that it just takes a lot of time. And it's time that I could definitely be spending elsewhere on other stuff. Even if I'm taking time off, even if I'm enjoying a day off, I'd rather just enjoy the day off. Duh. You know what I mean? So it's because of that I'm going to hold off on doing wrestling content for this channel until May. Until May. And that sucks because there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about 2021. There's a lot of Joelsuf Remembers stuff that I want to do before May. Or there's a couple things. There's Actually, no. There's just one. Well, no, there's a couple. There's Rock returning after 7 years. Uh, that was on Valentine's Day 2011. I remember actually making a video on that on this channel. You could probably, if you wanted, you could dig deep, 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 and like look through the content I made like 10 years ago. Will probably be there. You know what I mean? That there's Victory Road 2011. Ooh, yeesh, that was not good. Ooh man, oh, was that bad? Sting versus Jeff Hardy, with Jeff Hardy doing the job to drugs before doing the job to Sting. That was awful, and I was actually afraid for Jeff Hardy's life there because he looked really bad in that match. But there's only a couple of things really, and I just and those are really really close. You know what I mean? But yeah, so no more wrestling stuff on this channel until May, where you're gonna hear a Joelsuf remembers about a certain broken Hardy that became really popular 5 years ago. Yeah, uh, gaming content. I'm still gonna do it. Um, what I'm gonna do is I'm pretty much gonna like recording this. I'm gonna record just games I just randomly play, just to give you some content to watch. It might be video games that I've played already. You know, like how many Final Fantasy 9 playthroughs can I actually have on this channel? I don't know. Let's find out. You know what I mean? Like, I've been playing the Final Fantasy 9 Mogori mod, and which is like way better. It's a different game than Final Fantasy 9 that I played 20 years ago, and then the one on PC that I bought 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different game, man. I did a speed run of Final Fantasy 9. It's almost 12 hours. So I'm trying to upload that to my channel, and it doesn't want to cooperate, but I will try to get it up. That didn't sound right. That sounded really bad. I'll get it on my channel. God damn it! Get your mind out of the gutter. Let me get my mind out of the gutter too. So yeah, um, but casual stuff, playthroughs. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna play a video game casually, why play it while watching something? Why not play it and make content out of it? What a novel idea. And I was gonna stream it, myself doing that, and then like sell stuff and like give you like specials on stuff that I sell during the stream. But the problem with that is that someone moved into my apartment and there's a room connected to the living room, and that's where I stream because that's where the modem for the internet is located, and that's where I can get a really good signal. So I can't do that anymore. Damn. But I can still pre-record stuff like I'm doing now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll do that with gaming stuff, and what I'll do is I can do like a thing like a 24-hour special. Like you know, if you buy like one thing from me within 24 hours of me making a gameplay video or something, uh, then uh, then then you'll get everything else I sell for free. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Because I've been writing a lot of awesome stuff that can help a lot of people, I think. And so, or even just interesting stuff to read. I've written like a really cool fiction book about a dude who like can't feel physical pain, but he feels physical pain whenever he gets emotional about stuff. You know, whenever he gets like really sad or distressed. You know what I mean? Like, and so like it's really cool, and I want to I want people to buy it and read it. You know what I mean? And like it's only $7. You know, that kind of stuff. So you'll see that as early as New Year's Day. Uh, so be on the lookout for that. It'll probably just me playing a video game, any given video game that I play during the winter. And I'll actually talk about that as I'm playing the game, why I play certain video games during certain times of the year. Uh, it's just a thing I've been doing for the last, I don't know, man, 15 something years of my life. And, no, longer, like 20, 15, 20 years I've been doing that. So yeah, and it's just I don't know. I'll definitely talk about that as I'm playing stuff. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. Um, but that's the only. But wrestling stuff. I'm gonna hold off on doing fantasy booking for a while. I also with fantasy booking stuff, it almost sounds like a podcast, just like this video almost sounds like a podcast. And from the fantasy booking videos I watch on Parts Fun Known, there's a little bit more editing to it, and it's like a lot more professional. And I want to kind of make my fantasy and Plana Productions too also does fantasy booking. And their videos look like really cool. You know what I mean? They got like nice editing stuff. So I want to like learn how to make videos that way. You know what I mean? Also, better equipment. My camera's god awful. I know that it sucks dick. So I need to get a new camera. Yeah. So and I gotta do all that. Get much better equipment before I can even take on another fantasy booking video. But Joelsuf remembers that wrestling content kind of video will be coming in May 2021. And yes, I'm going to talk about Broken Matt Hardy. I'm going to talk about the debut of Broken Matt Hardy. And as you can tell from the smile on my face, I can't wait. And then 2 months later, 2 months after that, yeah, I'll give you the entire schedule. So, future Joelsuf Remembers podcasts. As I stretch. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. There. Sorry about that. My god. You sit all day, man. It's so horrible. Future Joelsuf Remembers podcasts, where I just talk about fun stuff that happened in wrestling. So in May, it's going to be the debut. It's going to be Broken Matt Hardy. Joelsuf Remembers Broken Matt Hardy. In July, I already did a Joelsuf Remembers on the Pipe Bomb and John Cena's debut, both of which took place the same date, June 27th. Only, of course, John Cena debuted June 27th, 02, and you had CM Punk's Pipe Bomb 9 years after that to that point. So I'm not going to talk about that because I already talked about that 5 years ago in 16. I didn't do a Joelsuf Remembers on Joker Sting. Joker Sting, that's going to be a really good Joelsuf Remembers episode. Other stuff in 2011. Other stuff that took place, that I can remember. Other Joelsuf Remembers stuff. I can't really come up with anything. What's it called? I might do a Joelsuf Remembers on Raven versus Sandman in ECW. That was 25 years ago, 2096. I might do a Joelsuf Remembers on One Night Stand 2006. But I don't know, man. Whatever. August 21st, 2021. I'll definitely do a pretty heartfelt Joelsuf Remembers on Jeff Hardy returning to WWE after 3 years off. And when that happened, the day after, my dad died. So I talked about death in the beginning of this with John Huber, and now I'm talking about it at the end of this with my dad. So I'm probably going to also do a Joelsuf Remembers on that. In fact, I probably am, because it's going to be very therapeutic for me. And that's the thing about doing content like this, is that it is really therapeutic for me. And that's why I'm going to continue doing gaming stuff, because gaming stuff I just do anyways. I just plug in a game and talk about shit. With fantasy booking, I have to make a script, and I have to do that. And now I gotta make the video, that kind of stuff. But I will lay out some future. Here, I'm actually gonna put that in. Let me do this. Yeah, I'll do that right here in OBS. Hold on. Okay, so. Okay. Where is it at? Okay, cool. Let me change this text here too, because now we want to put like a better font. All right, let's see. Sorry, this is. Aha, this looks good. Okay. So, okay. Oops. All right. Okay, future Joelsuf Books episodes. So like I said, Cena versus Orton. Cena versus Orton, the road to 17 titles. That's going to take place maybe like in a year. Like literally like right before next year, or 2022, because that'll be more relevant. And I want to see if WWE is doing anything with that. They may already have that. They might already have me beat to it. You know what I mean? This one I'm gonna be very excited for. I'm gonna be doing this. I might do this like on my 39th birthday, because I'll be in a really festive mood. MJF's road to the AEW. Whoops. To the AEW title. The Invasion. Because it's going to be 20 years since that. So I'll be in the fall. Let's see, what else? The Summer of Punk. That's a maybe. I don't really know. I mean, there's already been a lot of. There's been a good. Adam Blompied from what's it called, from Parts Unknown, and now when he was doing stuff for What Culture, he rebooked the Summer of Punk, which is actually pretty damn good. Yeah. So yeah. Ooh, excuse me. Only it was way more edited than me doing this podcast style stuff. Anyways, yeah. So the Summer of Punk. This one, I'm kind of but because Becky Lynch, she just had her child, which is great, but she's gonna want that WWE's Ladies title, so. Unifying the ladies titles. Let's see, what else? Is that it? Let's see. Ah. Oh no, let's see. No, let's say that. Ooh, this one's gonna be good. You know who Tim Storm is, and it may not, because so Tim Storm is he's from NWA, and like he's like 50 something, and back when NWA Power was being filmed, uh, he was like he was like the blue chipper guy, but he was like a blue chipper guy who was like you could really get behind him. You know what I mean? And he was like, I just want one last shot. I just want one last dance with 10 pounds of gold, the NWA title. And I think they were building up to Marty Scurll versus Nick Aldis for the NWA title, but I kind of wanted Tim Storm to win it, and Tim Storm was like, so and road to NWA. Oops, or whatever. It's a title. The font is way too big, but whatever. But those are So those are like some ideas. Okay, Cena versus Orton, road to the 17th title. That one is definitely going to be it. MJF's road to the AEW title, yes, that one I am for certain doing. That's going to drop, that's what I'm saying, June 29th, 2021. I'm actually going to, start scripting these, yeah. And that's probably going to be the first one I do for 2021. Invasion, I'm definitely going to do that. The Summer of Punk, maybe. That's, I guess, the scene for Resort and Road to 17 titles. I'm definitely booking that shit. Becky Lynch's road to the WWE Ladies title after being a mom and stuff like that. I might. But that might actually be a shorter video, not like some big long podcast type video like this. You know what I mean? That might just be like, I could probably rebook that like right now. I could be like, all right, she comes back. The Raw after WrestleMania 37, and she goes up to Asuka or Charlotte Flair, because we all know Charlotte Flair is gonna have the fucking title. We know this. You know what I mean? I love Ric Flair, but Charlotte Flair is just like that girl needs to start speaking like her dad, man. Like the way she talks, it's like she could read a book, and it would knock me out. I would fall asleep her reading a book to me. You know what I mean? She has no emotion in her voice. So she's gonna have it. So I could rebook that right now. Becky Lynch's road to the WWE Ladies title. It would be she comes back after Mania 37. She says, "Oh, the man is back, and now the man is also the mom. So I'm ready to win a title now." And then Charlotte Flair goes, "You know what? We have so much history together that it doesn't even need to be said. I'm actually going to pick you to challenge me. I'm going to pick you. I'm choosing you as a challenger in my title." And Becky Lynch says, "Yeah, all right, cool. Absolutely. Let's do that. Backlash or whatever, And then Charlotte Flair says, "You know what? My dad used to say, to be the man, you got to beat the man. But I say, if you want to be the queen, you gotta beat the queen." You know what I mean? And then they have a match. You know what I mean? I just did it. Unifying the WWE Ladies titles. This really needs to happen. Okay? Whether we have a brand split or not. So I'm gonna book that. I'm probably gonna book that before MJF's road to the AEW title. It could be like a practice fantasy booking that I do. And and if that's not even when, not even if, it's probably going to be a when. When NWA Power starts filming again, I want to see what they do with Tim Storm, to see what I can do about booking his retirement tour and his road to one last NWA title reign, because he was one of the coolest parts about NWA Power. And I'll probably do also a video about how I miss NWA Power. Um, I could do like maybe a short a short Joelsuf remembers on NWA Power, because it's been about a year since I started watching it. It was like summer of 19 that I started watching it, something like that. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, there you go. There it is, everybody. That's what you can expect in the future with my fantasy booking stuff. Whether it's going to be, and the reason why I'm holding off on Joelsuf books for a while is, one, I gotta get some stuff outside of YouTube in order. Um, just stuff in my finances and my business and stuff like that. Uh, Second, in order to do these fancy booking, in order to do this fancy booking right, I gotta make it right, man. I gotta get better equipment. I gotta get editing stuff, that kind of stuff like that. Better camera, you know what I mean? Like, that needs to happen. That needs to happen. Okay? So, yeah. But either way, that's what you can expect in 2021. I wish all of you a very happy new year. And I hope you had a I hope you had a fantastic and wonderful holiday season. But it doesn't matter what you celebrate. I don't really care. I'm not gonna list them. I celebrate everything. Every day is a holiday for me, man. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel so lucky to have survived 2020. Uh, I can say that I contracted and recovered from COVID-19 with pride, and I feel like I feel like I've really I feel like I'm part of like an elite group of like people who are, as immune as they can be without actually being immune to COVID-19. You know what I mean? So yeah, and we lost a lot of good people this year to it, and I mean, yeah, my bowling buddy, lost him to COVID-19, and I almost lost another buddy of mine too. Or it was one of my mom's work buddies, who was also my age, and she just had a lot of asthma and pre-existing conditions and stuff like that. That if you get COVID, it gives you some complications if you have those conditions. And yeah, and Brodie Lee, or Jonathan Huber, Luke Harper, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, him passing, that hurt. That hit me pretty close to home too, because I'm gonna be 41 in 2 years. So holy crap, you know what I mean? It's like damn. So yeah. So oh, be on the lookout. What I'm gonna probably do, I'm sorry, New Year's Day, I'm gonna upload a pretty important video that's inspired by someone who I watch, and I have this idea to do exactly what they did, only as the ball drops for New Year's Day. And I want to like time it to where it's like one of the first YouTube videos to be uploaded in 2021. So be on the lookout for that video. It's going to be a kind of weird video too, but whatever. Okay, everybody, I'm out of here. Take care. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Hope all that went well. Thank you for watching, listening, and I will see you in the next stream or the next video. Take care. Peace.